This is CBS News Bay Area with Reed Cowan.
You want a little hope, you want a little love, you want a lot of pride in the Bay Area, we've got it for you. A beautiful day here in San Francisco as we kick off Pride Month, and we are doing it from the ground and the sky. We've got this beautiful drone shot of the Pride flag over the iconic Castro neighborhood. It's a wonderful day. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Reed Cowan, our entire news team, so proud to be your community station, bringing the stories of your activism, your advocacy, and your work to be a community home to you. Now let's talk about that. We have video from all over the Bay Area. You know, you've got the beautiful Pride flag here at Harvey Milk Plaza, but we also can see that cities and counties all across the Bay Area are raising that Pride flag today. You will see it all over the Bay in the days ahead. This is video from Belmont, Redwood City, and Daly City earlier today, all of them in San Mateo County, which is planning their first Pride Parade on June 10th in beautiful San Mateo. And also, over the bridge, our friends raised the flag in Oakland today. Listen.
We say gay! We say gay! Woo!
And, you know, they're chanting "We Say Gay" as a response and a counterpoint to the national narrative that we'll be talking about in this show and in broadcast throughout the day and then in coverage throughout the month. Oakland, by the way, celebrating Pride for more than 10 years.
For miles around, you can see the flag on the top of Oakland City Hall. And so this is a beautiful moment. This is a moment of celebration, and it's also a moment of standing up and sending a message that we won't back down to hate.
All right, so that is from Oakland, but you know, not everybody is on board, and we know there are varying perspectives here in the Bay Area and across the country. Take, for instance, in Solano County, the city of Vacaville, some controversy there as that city comes under scrutiny. The Solano Pride Center claiming that Vacaville delayed recognizing Pride Month. So Vacaville's mayor was asked about that. He says he didn't refuse to recognize Pride Month, but needed time to review the city's flag policy and previous proclamations. He does say he plans to issue a proclamation. And then, of course, well, this was a brouhaha coming out of L.A., the back and forth in baseball between the L.A. Dodgers and the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Well, that charity out there, they were a group that was removed from Dodgers Pride Night celebration over opponents that claimed that they mocked the Catholic faith. But after a lot of pushback and LA Pride getting on board and getting behind the sisters, they changed their mind. They said they're going to start involving the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence in response and narrative building in the days, weeks, months, and years ahead as the LA Dodgers does what they say they'll do, and that is to continue to evolve. You know, drag is definitely coming on fire all over the United States. And as we come out of AAPI month, we've got my friend Ryan Yamamoto here. Nice to have you with me.
Oh,
and once
great to
again,
be here.
You have that wonderful intersection of AAPI month and Pride with the Rice Rockettes.
You know, I met the Rice Rockettes during an event back in February for Lunar New Year, and I watched them perform, and I said, I have to tell their stories. And as we say goodbye to AAPI month and say hello to Pride Month, what a better troop to profile, a troop, the Rice Rockettes, who straddle and represent both worlds. The Rice Rockettes, they are a group that formed 14 years ago. They built themselves as the Bay Area's premier all-Asian American drag troupe. Estee Longa, who founded the group, says at the time, they were the only a handful of Asian Americans performing drag, but felt there was a need to represent the community. And little did she know, the Rice Rockettes would gain a following, appearing on America's Got Talent, performing more than 50 events every year, riding that wave of drag's popularity. But as we know, the newfound attention has come with newfound tensions, the polarization and the politicization of anti-drag sentiment, including last year, when one of their very own was attacked during a drag storytime event here in the Bay Area. And because of that, Estee Longa says she is very protective about the events they now choose.
I'm more insistent about queens being by themselves and having people with them to gigs. And I don't take on certain gigs anymore because of it. So I think we are on a sort of heightened awareness because of it.
And Estee Longa says, although they are aware, they're not afraid and they're not going to go into hiding. They say it's important to keep on performing, to keep on entertaining, to not only show that they're not afraid, but to show that they are human, that they are part of the community, and that they earn and deserve that respect.
Drag is joy, drag is art, and your story airs tonight at 5 o'clock.
I'll have Estee Longa's story and the Rice Rockettes story tonight at 5.
You better get back in a car, my
I
friend.
will.
Get back to set. Thank you, Ryan, so much. I love the moment Ryan came running into my office saying, we've got to profile the Rice Rockettes. They're so important. So that story tonight at 5. And then, we have a whole month of coverage planned. Our news team has been at work since the first of the year, making sure that your stories make air. First of all, we're going to be talking to a roller derby league and how important it is to the women in our community and also our trans community. There's a twist to this story, a chance for you to really step up and be a good community member and make sure that they have a practice facility where they can practice. Then, of course, we know that Mpox, when it broke out here and all over the country, the Bay Area leadership really jumped in using playbooks that were written back in the days of the HIV and AIDS crisis. They were able to quickly mobilize and help people get those vaccinations. And now, as the new warning comes out from the CDC that Mpox may have another spike in cases, we're going to be talking about ways that you can protect yourself and your health. Then, of course, after the break, we'll be talking to our great friends with SF Pride about not only the tone and what's going on in our country right now where drag and trans issues are concerned, but also the great celebration here. We're also mindful that kids in rural America, they tune in, they watch what we do here in San Francisco, and they say, somewhere there's a place for me, and to keep hope alive. And then Liz, I gotta brag about you, my friend. You came in and said to me, there's somebody we've got to profile as we look at trans issues in our country. I'm gonna let you take that.
That's right, Reed. She is Miss San Francisco, and I spent the day with Monroe Lace. It's an honor to tell her story. She is the first trans woman to be crowned Miss San Francisco. Now, this is a woman who has overcome incredible odds. She was homeless at one point in her life and even received death threats after winning the title. But that is not stopping her. She is using her platform to inspire other trans individuals to never give up on their dreams. I followed along as she visited one of the schools in the Tenderloin and was completely blown away by the reaction from the students. You have to see this story. It will air Monday at 11 on KPIX. All right, let's switch gears just for a moment and give you a look at today's top stories. In San Francisco, the man accused of stabbing an employee at a Chinatown bakery made his first court appearance. 61-year-old Phuc Poi Lai faces multiple charges, including attempted murder. After the hearing, his attorneys told reporters that Lai's long history of mental illness made him a victim of the criminal justice system. Lai had been out on parole for an attempted murder in 2016. The DA's office asked the court to keep him in custody, saying he poses a threat to public safety. His arraignment will continue on June 27th. Let's take a live look at Capitol Hill as senators race against the clock to pass legislation that raises the debt ceiling. The House passed a deal last night with bipartisan support to avoid a potential catastrophic default. The Fiscal Responsibility Act lifts the debt limit through early 2025, giving the U.S. more borrowing power to pay its bills. But it cuts federal funding for the IRS and places stricter work requirements for some receiving food assistance. Party leaders are aiming to get the bill to the president's desk before Monday. And the Bay Area's newest pro sports team officially has a name, Bay FC. That's the National Women's Soccer League team. A group of former soccer stars, including San Jose native Brandi Chastain, led the effort to bring them here. Bay FC is set to begin play next spring. Well, still ahead, it's one of the most recognizable Pride events here in the Bay Area and around the world, for that matter, the Pride Parade. We're talking live with the president of San Francisco Pride about this year's celebration and the big events leading up to it.
Just in time for the first day of June, temperatures actually feel a bit more like summertime. Several degrees warmer than we were at this point yesterday, and the warm-up will continue as we finish the week and head into the first weekend in June. Details coming up in the First Alert forecast.
Hope, love, pride. Proudly presented by Pet Food Express and Broadway San Jose.
Live here in the iconic Castro neighborhood, and of course the centerpiece of the Castro. Aside from the people who have lived here and used this as a platform for advocacy and activism, of course, we're looking at the Castro Theater. Manny's presents an evening with Jane Fonda tonight, and let me tell you, stay tuned to Channel 5. you'll see Jane Fonda live at 6 o'clock. All right, so coming back over here to Harvey Milk Plaza, I'm standing underneath a sign that says, hope will never be silent. No matter where you stand on these issues that affect our LGBTQ plus community, we know that we need a little more hope, a little more love, and a whole bunch more pride in our world. And you know, people who are making pride happen this year are our friends Suzanne and Win with SF Pride. Hello, thank you for coming down here. Did you bring the wind?
I did, Reed, just for you.
Just to make the beautiful hair move, that's right. Okay, so we know that this takes a year or more to plan. Tell us about the highlights.
The highlight will be going down Market Street when you see that culmination of all the work and you know everybody's out there and you get that enormous feeling of joy from the crowd. That, for me, that's the apex.
We need to add the word joy to Hope, Love, Pride in our motto. So this is also happening in a time when in our nation we're seeing record anti-drag, anti-trans legislations and moves. What will we see that addresses that?
So you're right that we're seeing a vicious wave of attacks against our community's histories, our books, our art forms, and our healthcare. So to combat that, we're going to be viciously fabulous back. We're going to show the world what SF Pride has always been doing now for 53 years, that we're going to bring joy and we're going to inspire love, because we know that only love will drive out hate.
And you know, I'm always mindful. I'm a kid from Roosevelt, Utah, and I'm always mindful that somewhere in rural America there's a kid watching, logging on, and they're seeing how we do it in San Francisco. Does that ever hit you and really touch your heart?
I've been saying it all year this year. It's so important this year. There are going to be those kids like I was out in these red states that will be watching, and they'll see San Francisco Pride and they'll know that there's one place in the United States that they know if they get there they can find their people, and that's why it's so important to come out this year.
You know, we truly do stand on the shoulders of people who had it a lot more difficult than we did. I'm mindful of the gatherings when Harvey Milk put the milk box down and said, I am here to recruit you. Do you still feel those words at SF Pride?
We still certainly do, and we're not doing it alone. Just today, we finally announced very exciting news, our Celebrity Grand Marshal, as well as our headliners for this year's celebration.
Do we need a drum roll?
I think that'd be appropriate. And these are people who have allied themselves with our cause so that they can promote our message of joy and love. And if I can share them right now.
Please do. Breaking here on Channel 5. Go ahead.
So for headliners, we have two amazing vocalists. They're both openly queer. One is Haley Kiyoko, who is very famous for Girls Like Girls. So she'll be headlining on Saturday. And on Sunday, our headliner is going to be Princess Nokia, who is very, very famous for many, many reasons. An out and proud queer rapper, very famous for my favorite song, which is Sugar Honey, Iced Tea. That's as much as I can probably say on network TV. And our Celebrity Grand Marshal is Jake Borelli, who is the openly queer actor on Grey's Anatomy. He also plays an openly queer doctor named Dr. Levi Schmidt. And we're just so thrilled that we have these three out and proud queer luminaries that are ushering the next generation of queer activism and advocacy.
And it's not just as we approach the Pride Parade. You have events programmed starting tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow, yes. Right at the Castro Theater, we'll have the first SF Pride Kickoff. It's going to be a night of queer entertainment. We're going to have excerpts from the Compton's Cafeteria Riot play. We're going to have films like Mrs. Vera's Daybook. We're going to have a great singer. Tori will be with us. So it's going to be a fabulous night. We want the community to come out. Tickets are $20. However, if you go to sfpride.org and look for the tickets there, if you don't have the $20, we still want you to come, so no one will be turned away.
And you know, I always say this all the time when we do our community initiatives at CBS Bay Area, we need each other, right?
We do.
To the person who's the naysayer, who might be watching right now through that camera lens, what do you say about hope, love, and pride from the Bay Area?
I say that you can come be a part of it. Don't just sit there and watch. Come be a part of it. And if you're sitting there thinking like I do sometimes, oh my God, all this legislation, all this hate, is there anything I can do? You can come be with us. Let's be a community and be together.
Start the dialogue. Ask questions. It's okay to ask questions, especially if you do it in that spirit. Thank you both so much.
Thank you, Reed.
I know you're going to wear out these shoes this month. It's going to be a busy month, so we appreciate you making time for us. Thank you so much, my friends. Okay, so we've got the drone back up in the air for that beautiful shot of the Pride flag here. Harvey Milk Plaza overlooking the Castro neighborhood, and it's just going to be a wonderful, wonderful month. All right, now as we look at that drone and we see the winds whipping here, I'm going to blame my friend Paul. Paul, talk to us about the weather. Is this wind going to maybe calm down a little bit?
Eventually, as the sun goes down, but it's just going to repeat itself every day. It's June in San Francisco. It's Pride Month. It's what we expect this time of year. You saw those rainbow flags rippling in the wind. We are in for a bit of a warm-up, especially farther away from the water, as high-pressure builds in the upper levels of the atmosphere just means there is going to be more air overhead, and that compresses the air at ground level and warms it up. Temperatures are going to peak right over the weekend. A little offshore breeze farther up in the atmosphere, but we're not going to lose that onshore influence. It's going to be a much more modest warm-up along the coast and around the bay. Seeing some haze on the horizon as we look out from Salesforce Tower. Temperatures are back much closer to where they should be for this time of year, still slightly below average. 60 degrees in San Francisco, 64 in Oakland. Inland temperatures are between 73 in San Jose and 75 degrees in Santa Rosa and Concord. Livermore splitting the difference at 74. Air quality map right now still shows mostly green dots, so you see that haze on the horizon. And while we're, in terms of air quality, kind of towards the top end of the green category, most of the air quality sensors, whether the official EPA sensors or the unofficial purple air sensors, not tipping over into that moderate category just yet. That did happen yesterday evening. It's possible it'll happen again over the next few days. That high pressure overhead also tends to trap some ground level pollutants. We'll see some patchy fog and low cloud cover spreading into the inland valleys of the East Bay and the Santa Clara Valley. Not as much in the North Bay by early tomorrow morning, but what's out there is going to back up towards the coast very quickly. Should be clearing out inland between about 8 and 8:30, which the clouds even breaking up along the coast as we head towards late morning. Temperatures tonight dropping down to mostly the upper 40s and low 50s, kind of an even split across the board. Some of the coolest spots around Santa Rosa even dipping down to the mid 40s. High temperatures tomorrow, very close to what's normal for the second day of June, maybe even a couple degrees above normal inland, reaching close to 80 degrees in San Jose, also close to 80 farther inland in the North Bay, a lot of mid to upper 70s for the North Bay, and low to even mid 80s inland in the East Bay. Again, it's a modest warm-up. San Francisco and Oakland, almost exactly tomorrow's high temperatures, or the normal highs, 66 in the city and 70 degrees in Oakland, right at 60 degrees along the coast. Looking a little bit farther ahead, the weekend is almost upon us. We have the Union Street Festival happening this weekend in San Francisco. Temperatures are going to top out once again, mostly in the mid-60s. So be prepared for that breeze to kick up, maybe a few additional clouds on Sunday, but it looks like a nice weekend overall. The above-average temperatures inland aren't going to last long. The 6 to 10-day outlook gets us back into a familiar pattern with the best chance of below normal temperatures to our south, the best chance of above normal temperatures to our north. But the precipitation outlook, which we usually don't focus on in June because average rainfall is pretty close to zero, paints a chance of wetter than normal conditions because we are going to see just a little bit of moisture sneaking into the kind of the mid-levels of the atmosphere. That shows up in the brighter shades of blue on Featurecast here. It's enough for an outside chance of maybe a pop-up shower, possibly even a thunderstorm by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. We have not added any raindrops to the extended forecast, just some additional clouds for those 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday. Warmest days will be the next 3. Temperatures just a degree or 2 above average for San Francisco and Oakland, but farther above average as we head inland, low 80s over the weekend for the North Bay and the Santa Clara Valley. And then it's back to near or even below average temperatures by next week. So enjoy the warm spell while it's here. Except along the coast, you don't get much of a warm-up. You're going to hover around 60 degrees, but at least you get that additional sunshine for the next few days, and that definitely helps to brighten moods on the first day of the month. Reed?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much, Paul. And by the way, you hit the right button because the wind died down a little bit and it got a little bit warmer out here. Hey, coming up as we celebrate Hope, Love, Pride and the kickoff to Pride Month here in the Bay Area, we're going to be talking to Sister Roma about that, well, the opposition that came from the LA Dodgers and what's going on in our country relative to drag and the art form that entertains so many people. That's coming up. Then a reminder, you can always watch our newscast anywhere, anytime on CBS News Bay Area, our streaming service where you can always find the latest weather, sports, traffic, and of course your headlines. We'll be right back.
Hope, Love, Pride. Proudly presented by Pet Food Express and Broadway San Jose.
And you know, these are the days that feel good because they are quintessential San Francisco, quintessential Bay Area. We are, of course, proud to kick off as your community station day one of Pride events and festivities that are happening not only here in the Bay Area, in our state of California, but all over the United States. And we know that these celebrations are happening at a time when drag is in the headlines. You know, you can't go to Mission Dolores Park and see an event or down here in the Castro and see an event without seeing Sister Roma, of course, one of the main figureheads of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. And we know that they had the opposition from the LA Dodgers for a time. The sisters asked to not perform after they were first invited. Well, that invited a lot of response from the LGBTQ plus community all over the state, all over the country. The LA Dodgers saying that they are going to now start talking to our drag community and making them involved in the process, and so the dialogue continues. But is it safe to perform drag? We see drag performers all the time saying they're starting to see people show up at their shows. Here's what Sister Roma had to say about that.
I've been on the main stage at San Francisco Pride for many, many years, and when you stand in front of 100,000 people and you have feathers on your head, you're like, am I a sitting duck? You know, you have to really consider the fact that there are crazy people, and we live in a world where gun violence is an atrocious prevalence. So yeah, sometimes we have to think about those things, but I'm never gonna let those people control me, because if I am too afraid to come out and live my authentic life and do the service that I'm called to, then they've already won.
Sister Roma saying it's a service. Her art is a service, and you will definitely be seeing Sister Roma featured heavily in Pride festivities all throughout the month. And you know what? We know you are out there with your camera phones on social media. It's our joy to see you post what you think about this day and this month. As you post, please do so. Hashtag KPIX, hashtag Hope, Love, Pride, and Pride 2023. That helps us to be able to see your posts throughout the month and show them on television. All right, we'll be back from Harvey Milk Plaza live after this break. Welcome back, your community station, live from the Castro. Down here on the ground, it's a celebration, but also in the sky as we look at this huge Pride flag. The Pride flag, by the way, is going to be replaced with a new one in the coming days and hours. And you know, this shot definitely reminds us of the fact that there's some history to this place. There's some history to the Castro. Harvey Milk putting that milk crate down, saying, "My name is Harvey Milk and I'm here to recruit you." And of course, the words that we remember throughout our Pride Month: hope will never be silent. And that's why your Bay Area community station calls what we do the next month Hope, Love, and Pride. We'll see you back here at 5 o'clock.